Hey, good people. So, thank you so much for checking out my channel. This is a recap of Maternal Instinct that's on Netflix. It's been like in the top 10 for Netflix for like the past few weeks. I just found out about it, I would say maybe the beginning of last week. One of my good friends, Kim, my cousin Kim, told me that I need to check it out and that it was very interesting. And of course, it's something that's sad that happened, but it's like one of those situations where we think we have heard it all or seen it all. No, I guess it's never ending when it comes to the different links that people will do and the harm they will bring about to other people. So Maternal Instinct. So this was in New Boston, Texas. I've never heard of Boston, Texas, but I understand that it's close to Oklahoma. It's in Texas, but it's kind of like on near the border of Texas and Oklahoma. The population is like less than 5,000 people. On Netflix, they actually put the number, well, they put the actual census, I guess, for that particular town. And I know it was like under 5,000 people. So a very small town is a situation where everyone knows everyone. So this documentary starts out with, we see footage from the state troopers dashboard, and it's so amazing that we get a lot of documentaries now with actual footage from the police cars or the police officers body cam. So this is the situation in this documentary. We could see the footage from the state trooper's car. We could see footage from the police officer's body cam. So everything is just like real. It's real. There's a few maybe actors here and there in the shadows when they are retelling certain events, but other than that, we are seeing the actual individuals that was part of this catastrophe. I don't even know the word for this disaster. So it starts out with a footage of the state troopers dashboard where we could see a black Corolla that's like barreling down the highway, driving fast as hell with the flashers on, swirling and everything. And that prompts the state trooper to get behind that car to try to pull them over. And at the same time, we get a play of the actual 911 call from the woman that's driving the black Toyota. And that woman's on the phone with 911 stating that she just gave birth to her baby beside the road. And, that the state trooper is now behind her and she needs help. So she pulls over. And when the state trooper approaches the car, he sees this lady that's distressed. She's still on the phone with 911 at the same time, talking to them. And she's also talking to the state trooper, stating that she just had her baby beside the road and the baby's not breathing and she needs help. She asked the state trooper to just go ahead and drive them, like let her get in his car, in the state trooper's car, and just drive them to the hospital because the baby's not breathing. And it's blurred out on the actual screen when you're watching Netflix, but you could tell that she is holding the baby in her lap. So she's been holding the baby in her lap while she's driving, and the state trooper mentions to 911 that she was giving the baby CPR. And the state trooper also indicates that the umbilical cord is still attached. So you can see the EMS pull up, and we don't see that they come and take the baby or put the baby in EMS, but I'm guessing they do. We do see that they have her to walk over and she gets on the stretcher for the EMS. But when she's walking over, you really don't see any blood, and she's wearing like pajamas, and it's like, okay, I already know how this is. She's taking someone's baby because there's no blood. She should have been like bleeding on her leg or something, but this lady, apparently she did not give birth. Like, something strange here. You only see like one little spot of blood, and it's like maybe from her holding the baby in her lap. And I never saw the umbilical cord. Maybe they took it. Maybe it was still attached to. attached to the baby. I don't know what happened with that, but it was apparent that she had not given birth. And then they show where they go on, take her to the hospital, and even the people at the hospital are puzzled and looking around like there was no way she just gave birth. She was refusing to have like an examination between her legs. She did allow them to do the ultrasound, and they did I think the HCG level testing, and it was already told to the police officer that was at the hospital that there was no indication of her being pregnant or having a pregnancy at that time. All right. And then we see the cops come into the room where she is, and kind of find out her name is Taylor. They come into the room where Taylor is at the hospital, and the cops are asking, where did the baby come from? Because it's apparent that she did not give birth, right? So then that's when we find out that all this started in New Boston, Texas, a small town, like I mentioned before, where everyone knows everyone. And we have an old ex-friend. This is an old friend that Taylor knew in her past. Her name was Kenzie. She's stating that Taylor is hard to describe because of her different personalities. And I'm like, ding, 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 ding. Something was going on there. Something was going on there. Or not going on there. And so they say that in 2019, Taylor meets this guy named Wade at a rodeo. And when they met, they hit it off, and he found that she was very country like him. Like, he was a true country boy. He lived out in the country. He did everything country, dealing with the animals, everything. And Taylor presented herself as being a country girl, and that she was really into the same thing that Wade was into. Like, she didn't mind getting dirty. She didn't mind smelling like hog and all that stuff. And I guess he thought that was pretty cool, and they were hanging out and everything. And then Taylor, like, she liked to do the hog hunting, all of the country stuff, the same as Wade. That's how she presented herself. And so to his family and friends, they thought that that was a good fit for him, because she also was a pretty decent looking young lady for him and everything. So let's see. And then we also find out that previously, well, at that time, Taylor was working for a hiring agency, but then she told Wade that her family was coming into money. She told Wade and his family and friends that she was about to inherit money, and that she comes from a wealthy family, that her family was in the oil business. It was I forgot the name of the family that she gave, but she indicated that she was part of that family, and that she had wealth, and that she was to inherit $8 million, right? And so with them, especially Wade, hearing about the $8 million, all he could see, it seems to me, was dollar signs like cha-ching, 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 you know. So, and then she was telling him about how that was going to change the lives for them, and how, she was going to get this money and all the different things she wanted to do for him. And also, they had only just started dating, but before you know it, she had moved in with him. I don't even think it was like a good month. It's like they met this one day, they went on a date. The next thing you know, her and her daughters moved in with him, which we find out later. The reason why Wade let her move in is because she had said that she was being threatened by her mom, who she don't have a good relationship with, and all that crazy cuckoo business. All right. So she said that she would be a millionaire from her inheritance. However, she also says that her and her mom had a strained relationship, and her mom would not want her to have the money because they did not get along, and her mom hates her and she hated her mom. So with all of that, like I mentioned, Wade also, he's part of the documentary, and he confesses that Taylor moved in with him because she was feeling threatened by her mom and she wanted to be protected by him. So he allowed her to move in. And we also find out that Taylor already had 2 kids, a girl and a boy, which the boy was never with Taylor. They never saw him. He was like always with his dad. And the girl lived with Taylor. So, of course, when Taylor moved in with Wade, the little girl moved in too. Well, they barely saw the son, but she didn't much have dealings with the son. So once Taylor moved in, she's taking really good care of Wade. Like, she's cooking for him, she's helping him with the animals. Like, she's been a great help to him. And according to Wade, she was pulling her weight. So it wasn't like any bearing on him or anything like that. So she started buying her and Wade both. They went out, depending on the $8 million that she said she was going to get, and they started buying things like expensive trucks. I think it was like a Denali truck that's very expensive. It's got to be between $68,000 to $80,000. They also had bought like a Ford, maybe a 250 or 350. They bought a tractor, something called a side by side. And then Taylor also made it her business to buy Wade's mom a car. She bought Wade's mom a car. Mind you, they had not even been dating that long. Like, it's not even 6 months that they've already went out and got all these things, depending upon the money that she said she's going to inherit it. So they take the car to the mom, his mom, surprised his mom with the car because the mom did need a car and she had been looking. So, she was happy to accept that and everything. But to me, the whole thing is strange because if my son is dating someone, I need a car. But then this girl he's just been dating, it's not even a year. They're not engaged. They're not about to get married. She comes with a car to give it to me. I'd be like, no, thank you, dear. I don't, no, don't do that. No. I don't know. It's just like Wade and his family, they came across as greedy to me. Even though the girl was lying, it just seems greed because you guys let me know. Is that something you would accept? If your child just started dating someone and maybe you have a need for a car, would you accept something such as an automobile from someone as a gift? That was strange. A lot of things in this documentary was really strange, a lot of red flags. So let's say about 3 weeks go on and Taylor tells Wade's mom to bring the car to Wade's yard and park it in the yard and leave it because the dealership, and I think it was called Patterson Nissan, was going to pick the car up and take it back to the dealership because they had a recall on some parts. You know how sometimes you can have recalls on parts. So like, okay, maybe. But then Wade's mom said she reached out to the dealership later on, maybe like a few days or weeks or whatever, to see what was going on with her car because she thought maybe they were just going to replace the parts, upgrade, whatever they need to do to the car. And she finds out from the dealership, they were like, ma'am, this car was not paid for. It was repossessed. Huge red flag there. I mean, because when that lady first got that car from them, Wade and Taylor made a big deal and they posted on social media. They love to post things on Facebook. They posted on social media about how they had gifted the mom the car, only for the mom to find out weeks later that they didn't even pay for the car. It was a lie, right? So Taylor tells Wade that things have changed, that her mom is back in the picture, and her mom have convinced, I guess the grandmother and other people in her family that Taylor should not receive her inheritance. So the money's not going to come. That the mom is stopping the money. That's what Taylor's telling Wade and his family. Hold up, I'm going too fast, guys. Let's go back. So They've gotten all this car stuff. They gotten all these vehicles, equipment, tractors, things for the farm where they're living at. I want to say prior to them even doing, well, maybe after. I'm a little rusty, but I'll get better. But there was a point in the documentary around Christmas time. The family, Wade's family, was having a gathering at his auntie's house. And at this gathering, and this was filmed, so it's good that we do record things because you never know when it's going to be in a documentary. So at this gathering at the auntie's house, they're filming, and Taylor is standing in the middle of the living room, the den, whatever it is they want to call it, that they were sitting and gathering. And she's sitting there, she's standing there talking to the auntie with a lot of families sitting around in the family room, talking to them about a ranch that she's about to buy for Wade. Well, it's for her and Wade. It's in Oklahoma called Pecan Point. It's this place because she had mentioned to Wade that, she wanted to get into buying property, and Wade also shared with her that there's a property that he wanted. So for Taylor, in her mind, everything is about Wade. Everything is about Wade. Whatever Wade's want, she's gonna make sure Wade gets it in her little fairy tale land, la la land. But in reality, she's telling him like she can get these things for him because she's about to inherit $8 million, right? So Christmas time, she's at at Wade's family house, the auntie's house. She's standing there making a presentation, telling the family all about this property that her and Wade is about to buy called Pecan Point, about how much, how many acres, what all they plan to do, what's currently on the property. And we also see and we hear from the realtors how Taylor reached out to them, and her and Wade actually had went to the property. They took pictures and they had signed documents stating that they were going to pay, Taylor was going to pay $4 million cash for this property. They went through all that, wasting those people's time. And the realtors, they're believing them. They was like, well, she looked like she may come from means. And she also told them the same thing about an inheritance and talking about the oil. And, I guess I'm not familiar with it, but I would assume that people that have any means or anything to do with oil, that they have some wealth. And then especially in an area like Texas, So they were believing her. Like, she knew how to put it out there to make it believable to those folks, I guess, anyway. So even the realtors were believing her. However, even with them taking her word and everything, and she said she was going to pay $4 million cash, they were like, they still needed to vet and make, regardless if it's cash or not, they have to know where the money's coming from. So they needed like more of her financial information. And if Taylor didn't give them people to run around, the sky is not blue. So they talked about how they would try to reach out to the bank, try to reach out to the lawyers. They could never get anyone. And then when those people did reach out to them, they would always call it odd hours. Like they would call after 5:30. They would call early on a Saturday morning. And then the realtor, when he would try to reach out to get information from his side, he even got reprimanded for reaching out. And he received an email from someone that's supposed to be, I forgot what the Shelly person was supposed to be, like her lawyer, banker, or something like that. But whoever the person was from Taylor's side supposedly reached out to the realtor via email and sent an email reprimanding him for trying to get the information that he needed to confirm that Taylor actually had the funds, right? It was so weird. It's so weird. Like a lot of weird stuff going on. And she had called those people later on too, crying, telling them the whole situation about her and her mom too. So she had everyone thinking that her and her mom were not good, that she was supposed to inherit some money. However, her mom hated her so much that her mom was trying to put a stop to it, and that the money would not be coming soon. So here she have Wade. He's gotten all these vehicles, equipments, and things like that. And of course, I'm quite sure he felt embarrassed when his mom car was repoed. His mom really needed a car. They presented her with a car like they had did something for her. The car got repossessed. And it was nothing he could do because he did not have money like that. And to keep those things that he had himself, as far as like the Denali truck, the Ford F-350, 250, whatever it was, and the farm equipment, he had to, take out loans on those things himself and work his butt off to pay for it. So with him having to work all the time and not getting that easy money like he thought that Taylor was going to get those $8 million and pay for all that crap for him. He actually had to work. And that put a lot of strain on him and Taylor's relationship. So he really, he wasn't feeling her, especially when that money wasn't coming. So Taylor's like telling other people that Wade's not paying her no attention. He's acting different towards her. And you can't blame him. Like I just said, this lie already got him at a point where he don't want to got all this crap on him, and he really got to work to pay for it, or he gonna have to let it go, And so they were not, the relationship was rocky. Mind you, it's only just been a few months. The relationship is very rocky. So she's telling like they're close friends, and one couple, which was like an older man and woman, which Wade worked for the guy, but she talked and dealt with them a lot. And so, she would let them know that Wade wasn't treating her right according to what she wanted, that things was change, and there was a strain on the relationship. So she went to the lady, and I can't remember her name, but she went to their house one day, and the lady also was a chiropractor. And so she told the lady that she felt aura about herself, that she wanted her to talk to her body, because she said she thinks she's pregnant, and how she wanted to know how to tell Wade. And that lady was like, well, you don't tell him nothing until you know for sure, Oh, let's back up. One funny thing about when Taylor was dealing with the realtor, and she made the $4 million cash offer. It was so funny when the realtor said we were rooting for her. Everybody wanted that cheese. They wanted their money, baby. All right. So let's see where we are. Oh, so this whole time, still the realtor's trying to verify information about Taylor. Because even though she said her mom was back in the picture, she kept saying she was going to eventually get that money or whatever, some type of way, whatever lie she told them. She even had reached out to them, to the realtor, saying that she was going to do a wire transfer of, I think, $300,000. She was waiting on money to come from her uncle named Butch. And kind of found out that never happened either. All right. So Wade's acting funny. She want to get the relationship back on track. She goes to the older friend, who's also a chiropractor, and she's thought up in her head that she's pregnant, right? So she goes and she also tells Wade that she's pregnant. And we see different internet searches that's going on throughout the documentary. And it's where they had got the actual searches that she did on the internet, and one was making fake documentation. Excuse me. And so, girlfriend had made her. She searched for a fake sonogram, And she also created her own document, like she had went to the actual doctor or whatever. And she went to the doctor. Let's just say she went in the building, came out of the doctor's building, and whoever she was with at that time, she told them she was pregnant. And these people, even though it's a small town, Taylor was kind of new to them. So they didn't know Taylor. They didn't know Taylor like that. Even though it's a small town, this is like a new group of people that Taylor is around. So Wade and his friends, they didn't know Taylor like her ex-friends did. So Taylor's told Wade and his family that she is pregnant. Okay. She asked Wade's friend to throw her gender reveal party. And the friend was like, oh, well, I guess she must not have friends if she's asking me. So the friend agreed to do the gender reveal party. Taylor sends the friend the document. Well, the friend received a document, stating about the pregnancy and also the gender of the baby. However, when the friend actually looked, and her name was Stephanie, I love Stephanie on this. Stephanie is so funny. It's Stephanie and Cody. They were the couple that was like really good friends with Cody. One of the couples that was really good friends with Wade. And so Stephanie reading the document, and she noticed that it says 2016. Mind you, we're like that was in 2020. So why on a document it would say 2016? And it also indicated that it was a girl for the gender. So she reaches back out to Taylor and she was like, is this the correct document? Is this real? Because it says 2016. And so Taylor was like, well, let me call the doctor's office. They made a mistake or whatever. So she said it was like 30 seconds or less. Taylor calls her back and she tells us oh, they said that they made a mistake in the lab and it was like hundreds of people that they had sent this out to, and it was just like misprint, but the gender is correct. And so the friend was like, something strange about this, because it made no sense. When you ever known, not to say that mistakes cannot happen, but the doctor is going to send a letter out that with the date of 2016 on there, and this went out to hundreds of people. Girl, yeah, right. So, gender reveal come. They have like a little cow, a baby cow, calf, whatever you call it, come from around the house with a pink bow on it. You see people standing in the yard and everything. They mentioned one of the people in the yard was Taylor's dad. They said her mom was not there. She didn't have a relationship with her mom. Her 2 kids were there. So her little girl and boy that she already had from previous relationship were there. And so, of course, they're taking pictures. They got to post it on Facebook. Well, so they posted on Facebook. Everybody be on Facebook, on social media. So Taylor, older friends from where the place Taylor was from before, they see her Facebook post. And one of the people is Kenzie. And when Kenzie saw the Facebook post, she was like, no effing way. No way. And the reason Kenzie's like, no way, is because she knows for a fact that Taylor cannot be pregnant, because Taylor had a hysterectomy a few years ago. And with a hysterectomy, there's no longer a uterus, so you can no longer get pregnant. So it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. So not only Kenzie, but everyone else, especially from the place that Taylor had previously lived, and I don't recall mention of what that town was, but it's kind of like a small town, but not that far from New Boston. But everyone knew that Taylor had had a hysterectomy and that there's no way that she could be pregnant. And they also knew that Taylor was a liar. And so then we get more information about Kenzie and I think the other person's name was Abby, that were really close friends to Taylor prior, and how Taylor's behavior really turned them off, and they distanced themselves from Taylor. They mentioned that when Taylor was friends with them, she started out to be a really cool, fun person. Um, but things started to get strange because every time they would look, like Taylor would have some type of illness going on. They said she had had cancer. They said she had had a brain tumor. She had had a stroke. She would always posting these things on Facebook, and she would even post pictures with her with like an oxygen tube in her nose, and just making posts about how she's sick this day, how she's feeling bad that day, how she had a stroke, and then her mouth is twisted, her eyes are twitching, and she's like exhibiting all these symptoms that, okay, maybe it's believable, but then again, in the words of Nene Leakes from the Real Housewives of Atlanta, where is your scooter? Where is your scooter? She got all of these illnesses. Like, it's just unbelievable. Like, do you have housing condition of what's going on? So it was just too much for the friends, and they were not, they just felt it was kind of strange that Taylor always had all these different issues going on, and she's always posting all of these things, right? And then Kenzie, she states that she was having her own real difficulties with her health, and she had also been told that she could not get pregnant, but then she did ended up getting pregnant. But at that time, whatever she was going through, Taylor was always going through, and she felt that it was strange. It's like she was mimicking her life. And she said it got even worse when Kenzie actually did get pregnant. Taylor wanted to be involved in her pregnancy till it was uncomfortable for Kenzie. Like, she wanted to know about her appointments. She wanted to see the ultrasounds. And Kenzie said she took it too far when she asked her for the password and information so she could log into Kenzie's pregnancy tracking app because she wanted to track Kenzie's pregnancy. Now, if that ain't some bull crap, I would not even expect my mother, to ask me for my login information to track my pregnancy. So why would a girlfriend ask such a thing? Like, bitch, is you for real? So anyway, Kenzie was like, she ain't gonna do it. So she like really cut ties with her. Well, not cut ties, but she was like, she had to pull back from. And another thing that Kenzie and Abby mentioned is that they knew that Taylor had the hysterectomy, but Taylor really wanted, I guess, another baby. So she had asked them if either of them would be a surrogate for them, and that she offered them $50,000, that she would pay one of them $50,000. But those girls was like, they didn't want to deal with Taylor with this mess, because how can she want a baby when she wasn't taking care of the two that she already had? That's what they said. They said she wasn't taking care of the two kids she already had, so why would she want another child? And she was already acting strange all the time. So that was really interesting. So those girls and everybody knew on Taylor's side that Taylor could not have another baby and that she was faking. Yeah, that she was faking. So, let's see. All right. So now we're going to go back in Stephanie. So it was not sitting right with Stephanie, who was Wade's friend, that she received that information that was supposedly from the doctor's office with the date of 2016. She's like, that was really strange. So she actually called the clinic after the gender reveal and asked them about their documentation. In the office, the lady at the office, who was the office manager, told Stephanie that they don't send out information like that anyway, that they will never send out information like that. And it was like against the HIPAA law, and she couldn't give out any information because Stephanie wanted to know, have you even seen this patient before? And so the office manager was like, they can't give out information because of the HIPAA law. But she did ask Stephanie for the person's name. And when Stephanie gave her the person's name, the lady said, well, I'll just tell you, I'll just tell you to go with your gut. So that was saying a lot then. Because we also have the doctor's office on a documentary, and they confirmed and stated, because I guess they can do it now since that girl is, she's in prison, so they can break the HIPAA law now. But on the documentary, they gave the breakdown about when she came and had her kids, and how Taylor had requested the hysterectomy. She did not want to have any more kids, and it's all documented. And they even told her that, she was very young to make that decision, but she was adamant about it. And then, like, she had to do, I guess it's like a time period before you can have it after you give your birth. So she had her son, and it was like a time period. But in between that time period, she came back to them and she was bleeding, and they had to do a procedure on her, and they went ahead and did it because, they went ahead and did the hysterectomy. And I think what brought her in with the bleeding is that she was already pregnant in like her tube, and that was the type of pregnancy that she could not carry out, because it's the type of pregnancy that would actually kill you. So all of that was documented, that she had already had a hysterectomy. And so the medical people in that small town, because Taylor was also from a small town, they knew too, ain't no way that Taylor could be pregnant. No way. None. Nada. Zilch. Oh, my nose is running. Sorry. Okay. So Stephanie, them people told her to follow her gut. Stephanie started going down the rabbit hole. She's like, I'm finna find out what's really going on, because none of this is making any sense. It was not making any sense to Stephanie and Cody. Stephanie's, I think it was her husband or maybe her boyfriend. He was like, Stephanie would be up all time of night, and he was like, what are you doing? Like, she would be up 2-3 o'clock in the morning just researching, trying to find out stuff, And he was like, just leave that alone, But Stephanie, like, she could not leave it alone. She had to get to the bottom of it, right? And she said that, she was taught to Wade's mom about it. And Wade's mom was like, she didn't know what to believe, because at the gender reveal, Taylor's dad was there and her kids was there. And she was like, she really didn't know what to believe. And I guess it was like going over her head that somebody would go through the lens that Taylor was going through, like having a gender reveal with your family there, and you're lying. Like, would she really do that? Because she didn't know the girl like that. So Wade starts getting text messages, and so did the friends of Wade. They would get all types of crazy texts and emails, which Taylor said was from her mom. And the texts and emails was talking against Taylor, having bad things to say about her. Like, don't try to be a mom to her. Don't be her friend. She just Wade needs to let her go. All kind of stuff. Just, I don't know what the girl was trying to do. But Taylor said it was her mama texting them people. And it was just craziness. And according to Taylor, her mom just really hated her and did not want her to get the money, and was saying there is no way she was going to get that money, especially now that she was going to have a baby with Wade. Then we have a little part where we hear from one of Taylor's junior high and high school friends or associates that she knew. The lady name is Deborah. She's like the only I say African American person in the picture. Well, I think the state trooper was African American. I don't know, but okay. So it's this young, beautiful black girl that's giving her testimony about Taylor, and she was saying that when they were in high school, that Taylor was very insecure, and they even showed Taylor a picture from back in high school, and she was heavy set, so she was heavier than what she is now, and they say that Deborah said that she would ask other people for pictures of their body from the neck down because she would put her face on the other people's body and she would use that to catfish guys. She was catfishing back in the day in high school. And that she was very insecure because of her weight. But then we hear from Kenzie that when she met Taylor, that Taylor had already like had a gastric sleeve, so Taylor had lost a lot of weight, but Taylor was like kind of, always talking about her skin. I guess she had extra skin from the weight loss and everything. But she said Taylor was full of confidence then. So once she had that gastric sleeve and dropped some weight, she was very confident in herself. All right. And then we hear from Taylor's co-worker from when she worked at the agency, the hiring agency. Her name is Lindsay, and Lindsay shares that she and Taylor came close when Lindsay lost her baby to brain damage, and Taylor claimed she had experienced the same, but only for Lindsay to find out that Taylor ass was lying, that she did not have no baby that died from brain damage. And that lady was so hurt. I felt that. It really tugged at my heart when she was telling her part, and she was crying because she was like, she had lost her child to brain damage. And this person, Taylor, was there as her comfort and, pretending that she had experienced the same thing, So it's like they were pouring their hearts out to each other only to find out that Taylor was lying. She was lying about it. And so Lindsay said that she felt so violated. And then on top of that, Taylor had started using Lindsay's title at the job. So for Lindsay's position, she was like the senior manager, or she had a higher position than Taylor. But Taylor was using that lady's position and actually sending emails with that lady's title on her email. And that was what got Taylor fired from the job. It was so crazy. And then to come to find out, Taylor wasn't even doing the work. She just at the job, just too much. And Lindsay also mentions that while Taylor was there at the job pretending to work and using her title, that she had also started doing photography on the side. So that was like a side hustle that Taylor had picked up. And so this is how we kind of find out that Taylor meets the young lady named Reagan. She meets Reagan, and when Reagan had heard about her from someone else and hired Taylor to come be the photographer at her wedding. And when she was at the wedding, we hear from Reagan's mom and also her sister about how Taylor came and she was so nice. She got along with everyone. She took the photos, and that even when she was there, she was sharing stories about her husband being her ex, her boyfriend being her ex, and not having a good relationship. And that kind of made Reagan, have a little sympathy for her. And they even invited her to hang out with them after the reception. So it's like she kind of got in that way by telling her lies there and having those people to include her in activities and everything. All right. So Taylor goes to her doctor's appointment, but never allows Wade to go. So Wade was never allowed to go to any of her doctor's appointment. And I was thinking the whole time, like, how can she fake a pregnancy and she's with him? Because most times when women are, from all I know, when women are pregnant, your man is with you. If he's not going to all the all the doctor appointments, he's going to go to at least the one where you get to hear the baby's heartbeat. I would think, from my experience, they're there for the baby's heartbeat. But she would never allow Wade to go to any of her doctor's appointments. she always gave an excuse. And Taylor, she was posting pictures left and right on Facebook of a pregnant belly. Kind of find out she had went on Amazon or somewhere and bought her silicone fake pregnancy belly. And after seeing this documentary, that needs to be illegal. Or if people are buying those things, maybe for movies or something like that, I it just should not be easy to buy such a thing, because it just ain't right. It just ain't right. But she was posting pictures. She continued to post pictures on Facebook with that fake belly, saying that she was pregnant. She even had went to, and I do apologize, I didn't get the older couple's name. It's like an older couple, a man and a lady, that her and Wade were good friends with. But she would go to them a lot as a confidant. It's the same. The woman was the same one that was the chiropractor that she started this whole pregnancy rumor with. But she would go over to their house with a fake belly, and she would have them to touch her stomach, with her clothes on and everything. And she would make a movement to make it seem like a baby was kicking. And those people really thought that a baby was kicking. That fool was just breathing in and out up on that fake belly. But that's what they thought. It's so sad. This girl, oh, she did so much. All right, but Stephanie was not believing none of it. She didn't believe none of it, and she was still trying to go down the rabbit hole to see what she could find. So Wade admits that he had not been intimate with Taylor and had not seen her naked, while she had been pregnant. And we find this out from Cody, Wade's friend. He was like, Wade, like, they're saying that she's not pregnant. Don't you ever see her belly? Don't you touch her or anything? And so Wade was like, I never see her, that she goes in the bathroom fully dressed, take a shower, come, and she's staying there for hours. Kind of find out while she's in the bathroom with the shower on, she's in the computer, doing her deceitful things. And then she come out the bathroom and she's fully dressed. And Wade also admits, I was listening to, I think it was an interview he did with his friends or someone, but he was saying that they had not slept together for months. Like, she would sleep on the couch, he would sleep in the bed, and vice versa. Sometimes she would be in the bed and he would be on the couch, but they were not intimate, and that she would never let him touch her. But he's starting to hear all these rumors from different people about she's not pregnant, there's no way she could be pregnant, things like that, because it started getting out. It started getting passed around, and somehow Stephanie was able to actually speak to Kenzie, and Kenzie knows Taylor, and Kenzie tells Stephanie that Taylor had a hysterectomy. So the word is out. Everyone's starting to hear it. Everybody's starting to know about it. And Stephanie even got to the point where she found Taylor's auntie's number, and the auntie gave Stephanie Taylor's mom number. And Stephanie was able to talk to Taylor's mom. And Taylor's mom said it was true, but she didn't say anything and she could not say anything, because if she did, then Taylor would not allow her to see the granddaughter that was actually staying at Wade's house. That Taylor would cut off all ties, and that's why the mom did not say anything about all this foolishness and this fake pregnancy that Taylor had going on. So Wade still was not believing everything, and he was like, Taylor's mom is doing and saying anything because she hates Taylor and she's against Taylor. Wade's mom's telling him that he needs to put his foot down, that he really needs to get to the bottom of it. So Wade because it's like time's going on, and they're hearing that she had the hysterectomy. They're hearing that she's faking the pregnancy. So they're like, okay, what's going to happen? She going to have a miscarriage or what? And so Wade's mom's like, you need to get to the bottom of it. So Wade do confront Taylor about it. Taylor flips out and say that that Wade family just don't want it together, and that she's going to show them that she's going to bring home a baby. Okay? And it's past 9 months. And everybody's watching like what she's going to do. The only thing she can do is have a miscarriage so this could all be over with. She's still carrying on talking about she's going to have a baby. Then we see that she's online trying to research and find how to adopt a baby, how to get a baby off of Craigslist, whatever she can. Then we see her go to Facebook and she pulls up Reagan's page because Reagan's got married and Reagan is pregnant. She's like, they're only like a few months apart according to Taylor's timeline of her fake pregnancy or whatever. So she starts hanging out with Reagan. They go to Starbucks, hanging out, having a girls' day, catching up. She even goes to her house, visiting her, things like that. Reagan's also hearing about things about Taylor faking a pregnancy, but she feels sympathy for Taylor, and she even shares that with her mom because she said that people are lying on Taylor. So there's no telling what Taylor had told Reagan to make Reagan think that people were after her and that everything she was hearing was a lie. So Reagan was being sympathetic and she was ignoring everything that she was hearing from the other people. Time is still going on. Wade takes leave from work because he's thinking that Taylor's still pregnant and that Taylor is going to be induced. He wake up when it's time, almost time for them to go to the hospital so Taylor can be induced. He's woken up by Taylor one morning and she said the house is on fire. He had to go outside and put out a fire. Then later on, after he go lay down, go to sleep again, when he wakes up, Taylor tell him that, the doctor had to reschedule me being induced because there was a bomb threat at the hospital. He was like, what? That couldn't have been a bomb threat. She said, yes, it is, because it's on the news. Some guy called the hospital and there was a bomb threat. So it was actually on Facebook and also on the news that the hospital had received a bomb threat for some man. Come to find out that was Taylor. Later on, they find out that it was Taylor. Oh, my God. Then, Wade say he get up one morning. He had round up all the hogs. He had a big trailer full of hogs that he was supposed to go sell to this guy. And Taylor, the plan was that him and Taylor were going to go together because the location for the hogs to sell the hogs was like 4-hour drive. It was 4 hours away from where they lived. And so him and Taylor were going to ride there together. And then after they sell the hogs, they was going to go back by, I think it was Idabel Hospital so she can be induced. So Wade gets up. He's doing everything to get the hogs ready. When he's about to get ready to leave and he's thinking she's coming with him, Taylor tell him that she's feeling sick and she'll just meet him at the hospital after he drop off the hogs. So Wade leaves to go sell the hogs. He gets there after his 4-hour drive, meets the guy. The guy was like, why are you here? I did not order no hogs. I did not text you. Wade showed him the text message. That man said that is not his fucking phone number. He had not. Then he was like, didn't you talk to Taylor? He's like, I haven't spoke to her in weeks. Then we go to Reagan's mom. Reagan's mom is on the documentary saying that she received a call from Homer, Reagan's husband. Homer stating that, asking her if she had heard from Reagan because he had received a text from her. It didn't sound right. And when he tried to call her, he can't get her. So her mom tries to get her and she can't. And they find out that Reagan didn't go to work. They find out that Reagan's daughter, because she had, I think, a 3-year-old, was not at daycare. So her mom reaches out, I think it was the stepdad, to the stepdad to say, well, I got a call from Homer. It seems like something's going on. We need to check on Reagan. And the stepdad was off from work and he was with his friend. And so his friend was like, okay, we're going to head towards the house too. So Reagan moms goes to the house. The stepdad and his friend goes towards the house. Reagan mom gets to the house first. She see the garage is open. She said that wasn't normal. She gets out the car. She see blood in the driveway. Streaks of blood. So she's thinking maybe the puppy, the dog, or dog had cut their little paw on something. Next thing we know, we hear a 911 call and that lady screaming to the top of her voice that somebody had murdered her daughter. Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. Then we hear from, I want to say it was her stepdad. He said when he pulled up, he just hear the mom screaming and carrying on about, the girl had been murdered. And unbeknownst to the mom, she didn't know that. She's thinking that, her daughter's been murdered, but, she's still pregnant with a baby inside her. So even when the emergency people come, she tell them that, she's probably want to let you know she's pregnant. I guess she was thinking that maybe there's a chance they can get to her daughter, even though her daughter had been, butchered or whatever, and save the baby, that maybe the baby's still inside her alive. So they go in and they do whatever to turn her over. They find out that the baby's gone, that she's been pretty much gutted. Also, back up a little bit, before the emergency people get there, when Reagan mom is there, and also by the time the stepdaddy got there, they realize that they need to find the other child, the 3-year-old. The stepdad, the mom was telling him not to go in the house, but he was like, he needed to know. So he went in and he couldn't take it from the massacre that he saw. He stepped back out and he was like, he can't go in there and look for the 3-year-old. So his friend take it upon himself to go in, and he had to step over Reagan, and he went through the house calling for the baby girl, and he finally heard a noise, and he went in the room, and she had like the cover pulled up to her and everything. She was scared, frightened, but as soon as she recognized him, she like jumped up and leaped into his arms. And my only thought is, I pray that baby did not see any of what was going on when that crazy Taylor came in that house and did what she did to Reagan to take that baby out of her. Because kind of found out Taylor had went to Reagan's house and Taylor butchered Reagan and cut that baby out of her stomach. And that is the baby that Taylor was riding down the road with. And when the state trooper pulled her over and she had that baby in her lap trying to give the baby, it was a baby girl, CPR. That baby passed. So then we get back to Taylor at the hospital with the police officers talking to her, trying to convince her to be examined between her legs, because they had already did the ultrasound. They had already ran the HCG levels. There was no indication of pregnancy. She had refused previously the examination between her legs, but they were able to convince her to be examined, because they said since she had gave birth that it could be like some clotting, and they wanted to make sure she was okay. So they convinced her, and the officers were very great. They were calm with her, and they were able to get to the point where she allowed the doctor to come in, and the doctor said she ain't have no pregnancy. She ain't gave birth to nothing that day, period, whatsoever. And the detectives, police officers, they had already found out about the lady like in the next town or whatever that had been found, and that her baby was missing from her body. And they were able to put together that this is something that Taylor had did, and they were able to talk to her. It took a while, but they finally got her to admit that she had taking that baby from Reagan. And she lied even through the process, even to the point where she got to, first she didn't know Reagan. And then when they did have her to admit that she did know Reagan, that she did go see Reagan, she tried to make it seem like Reagan was upset with her, and Reagan was calling her a liar, and Reagan started with her and was fighting her, and that Reagan asked her to take the baby out of her, just a bunch of foolishness. But all in all, they locked her behind up at the hospital. They had Wade to come in, and they also questioned him. And this is when Wade found out that Taylor was not pregnant. He found out that Taylor had been faking it, that everything that he told her had been a lie since day one. And it's so sad, so sad. And so Taylor, she ends up on death row, which she is trying to appeal. And I'm just like, just go ahead and put an end to it. Just go ahead and put it. Like, why are we wasting taxpayers' money with having her locked up? Just do what you need to do. She's not remorseful. If she were to get out again, she will probably do something similar or something even, I don't know what's worse than unaliving somebody. I guess unaliving more people would be worse. But it's a wrap for her. And to me, I think Wade needs to take some accountability also, because I feel that a lot of this could have been prevented. He didn't know about kids. He never been with anyone pregnant, but he admitted that he did not love her. He said, I think he said maybe in a documentary or something else that I was listening to, that he didn't want to just put her daughter out. But when it came to all the pregnancy rumors, pour her shirt up while she's asleep. Be adamant about going to the doctor with her and go in the room and have it confirmed from an actual doctor. All of this could have been nipped in the bud, I feel. So I really feel he needs to be accountable. If Netflix paid him any money, that money needs to be taken from him and given to Reagan's family, whether it's to her husband or whether it's to her daughter that she's left behind. But he should not make any money whatsoever off of anything related to this documentary. No. And he needs to have some type of accountability in this situation. It's a terrible, terrible thing. It's a sickening thing. And I hope something comes about with regards to being able to order the fake bellies and things like that. I can understand having it for a TV show, for a movie, acting, but when it comes to real life, I don't know what stipulations they can have or what needs to go on. But this was really, really cruel, and that guy was really gullible to go along with what that girl, those lies that girl was talking about. Because I'm like, if anybody's inheriting $8 million, when someone, to me, if somebody's coming from a wealthy family, they really don't talk about their wealth. And who would just openly talk about their inheritance to someone they just met? And all of this happened in a 14-month period. A year and 2 months. He had not known her that long. And he just believed everything that she was putting out there. It was, I think I watched it maybe 3 or 4 times. And I'm probably going to watch it again because it's so unbelievable. Like, what? All right. Thank you guys so much for checking out my video. Please subscribe, give me a like, and share your thoughts. What do you think? Do you think Wade should be held accountable? What did you think when you watched the documentary? All right. Until next time. Thank you guys.